Hey, what's up guys, how's it going? It's Dakota Fisherman here, and today we've got another Lords Mobile video with KvK, and this is Kingdom Hunters. So we've got Kingdom 192, 201, and 185 against my Kingdom 197. Now, for a KvK, I would say, yeah, we've got some okay options here. You know, they're not terribly bad. I'll hopefully have a lot of action for you guys to see, because, you know, you never really know with these KvKs sometimes, you know, sometimes you get the good ones, and sometimes they're just, I don't know, they're borderline, well, I would say probably just questionable. Now, what I like to do is I always like to hide my troops, right? Because I always think, well, one of these times I'm going to get somebody that's going to rally me. Somebody. I don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be somebody one of these days. I'm going to just hide my tier 4 and just sit back and wait. See if it happens. But I've yet to have it happen. And I'm hoping maybe one day it will, but I highly doubt it ever will. I'm 700 mil. It probably will never happen, but hey, you never know. Now, of course, you know, the goal here is we want to complete our solo war. We want to be able to get guild war completed, right? And most importantly, right, we want to be able to probably trash as many accounts as we can. Now, in this particular KvK, you know, because I'm Garrison trapping, I thought, all right, well, let's take, for example, I'm going to let you compare between me and my girlfriend, one princess. And I want you to kind of compare what you could kind of expect, you know, in terms of being able to trap. Because, well, it was kind of the idea at the time. I was like, all right, cool, let's try it. Now, again, you can see you got some different guilds in here. You know, you got FOR, LC. I mean, you got some options here. You know, it looks like we might have a chance at actually getting some traps here. But again, the one thing that sticks out to me in every KvK is you got to figure out which kingdom's going to be biting. You know, which kingdoms are going to be the people that are willing to just solo a small, giant, resourced account. Who's going to be crazy enough to do the ambitious, you know, daring thing. And so I got a quick look, and we can see like guilds like D1D, for example, that stick out to us. We've got people like BRX that stick out to us. And these are the kind of guilds that, like, in my opinion, they've got enough might in their guilds alone, all right? Looking at this guild, that's 50 billion-ish. All right, these guys got enough that, hey, anything can happen. Like, we got some options here. This is some good stuff to see, you know, especially when you're starting out. Now, again, you know, one of the things that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of, right, is obviously the one I do Garrison trapping, and if you're interested in doing this at all, I've got some tutorials on my channel. Please take a look if you haven't already, but you can always check them out at the end of the video. Now, the one thing I will say is that whenever you do decide to actually do any of this, you want to make sure that you're like in war talents. In my case, I use a rally trap set. Which I just basically increase HP on the bottom, increase the last 3 attacks, and then basically increase attack stats as much as you can. The main thing is you want to have a lot of resources whenever you do this. In my case, I happen to have like a couple hundred mil just lying around, and it's not really that big of a deal. So for me to go around trapping with a bank account of mine that me and one princess have helped built, having her pretty much build all of it, because she is a mastermind when it comes to building resources, and shielding and all that jazz, because I can't manage it worth hell. But needless to say, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and well, needless to say, let's go right into the action. Hey, and welcome back. So, yeah, you can see it was a pretty interesting KvK. Needless to say, I got like 14 mil. One princess was able to get 14 mil. It was fantastic for a solo war. Of course, the chests and stuff like that, I already opened them. I did get some rares. It wasn't too like super great by any means. Obviously, KvK is almost over with, but I want to go ahead and make this video just because, well, why not, right? So between two people, we got our guild war done. Now, of course, going back over kind of, here's Kingdom 197, 201, 185, and 192. I'd say out of like the three kingdoms, 185 is like the most active out of the two. Now, of course, I wanted to kind of go over, like essentially the reports, because again, I know that I kind of fly through some of that stuff, and I just kind of wanted to go ahead and kind of give you guys an idea of just kind of like what kind of carnage we actually went through. So like, starting off with Xabi, like 74,000 dead, not so bad. I mean, obviously for the kind of hits that I take, you can see that that's really not too bad. Now again, you look at this hit and there's 80,000, right? Even better, right? Even better. And again, this is with range in those, and I'm sending cav. Like what? For some people, those are fighting words. But I tell you what, if you don't play your cards right and you don't send your leader, it's never gonna make a difference. Now like here, he sent some guards. Yeah, the buy guards, and there's 24,000 dead and a huge fat wound bill. Don't want to be paying that, obviously, but then you get your leader capped, and I still have his leader, by the way. I mean, look at that. Eek. I don't know why you'd want to send this, but I guess, hey, all the power to you, right? He's 288 mil, and he's got this kind of gear, so that's cool beans. And this guy in particular, he's 127 mil. Obviously, a lot of these guys, not super big. They're just, they're okay. Now, like this guy, I went ahead and I soloed the fort. I, of course, didn't have a chance to like actually get any footage of this because I didn't record it when I was actually doing it. But so small cat in particular is a 300 mil. Again, not really out of my ballpark. Obviously, I just sent straight 375, and surprisingly, he did fairly well up against that because, well, I mean, look at that. Like, what the? That is ridiculous to see that kind of result, especially considering that the only thing he had in there was just a little bit of cav, but it obviously didn't really pan out as well. For reasons that I would say, yeah, when you lose that many, that's not so great. But still, with what he had, that's really not too bad. It's pretty surprising to say the least, countering that he was counting my phalanx. Maybe that had something to do with it. I have no idea. But of course, I did hunt some monsters and stuff like that. And that's, you got to do that every day, guys. We got to be hunting your monsters. But of course, then we went up against Legolas. Now, this is one of the only BRX members that I went up against, and he's 724 million might. Doesn't have very many kills though. Now this guy, I went ahead and I saw his march. I knew he had drakes, and I just went ahead, ate a one-on-one march, and basically it was his gear versus mine. And as you can tell, I don't take really any losses from eating a march. So he ended up losing some, tier 4s for that. Now, of course, that's to be expected. But, again, Cav Wedge, Range Phalanx, works out in the end. Now, Captain Kurt, we got to a pretty good start on this guy because he ended up losing it straight 80,000 dead. And again, I don't know if I caught this in the recording. That's the thing, it's when I was recording a lot of this stuff, I was having to like record on like this account and then check this account. And I was looking at so many different things at a time that I wasn't really paying attention. So I apologize. I'm just saying it now because I know some of you guys are probably wondering where is the action. Sorry, messed up. Anyway. So there's another 80,000 dead. But again, hey, it works out in the end. Now this guy, he's 230 mil. So, and again, not very many kills, but again, a lot of these guys coming out of 185. Now, of course, I did go ahead and I started hitting tiles. So like, I got a lot of wounded tiles and stuff like that. Stupid tiny things like that. Like they don't tack up to a whole lot of anything. But again, we're trying to do our solo war. So then, of course, this is the last BRX member that I actually ended up like messing up. not too bad, I would say. Because again, it's cav on cav, and again, I just have more cav than he does, so he just doesn't stand a chance. So he loses 47,000 there, and then wins 93,000. Like, ouch. I wouldn't be wanting to take that if it were me. But you know, again, that's I guess the kind of things that you got to take when you're trying to hit Garrison traps without really knowing. So again, he's 625 mil, so a little bit higher on the kills though. But you know, obviously we don't know what his war gear looks like in this. But hey, you know, it's all right. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys the other clip. Now, most of all, the highlight of this entire event for me really was I had one princess send a garrison on our bank account basically, right? And she ended up getting so many tier 4 marches. It was absolutely fantastic. She ended up getting 33, 33, 3, 33, 3 after we did a little bit of tinkering. And yeah, it's really cool, to say the least, with the way, you know, KvK went and everything. Now, of course, you know, when you're trying to do this kind of stuff, I mean, yeah, I mean, it isn't cheap, to say the least, I guess. Whenever I do a KvK, I went from like 160,000 gems to 115,000 pretty fast. So, you know, for those out there that are like super jumpy about it, just put that in perspective and take into consideration of how many speeds I've used. And yeah, that's, you know, and even the healing bill, you know, it's like 67k every couple times. Yeah, you can imagine that that'll get pretty expensive pretty quick. But you know, needless to say, I don't know what exactly our outcome's going to be for Guild War. But you know, I think it was pretty fun, to say the least. I think the one thing that I certainly hope to see in the future is, like in this KvK, right? It was surprisingly not as active as I was anticipating, and I say that because it's been like this the entire time, where it's basically my guilds taking over their own forts, sitting back and farming the points off the forts and the base, and that's it. There literally is nothing more to it than that, and you don't see anything that really changes. Now, obviously, this is the last 2 hours of KvK, but what I'm saying is usually in the first hour or two of KvK, you get a little bit of action, and then after that, it's basically just this. Like, people sit back and do literally nothing the entire time. Like, I was just surprised at how little fighting that really went on in this KvK in comparison to like other KvKs that I've had, especially like where, you know, we were up against 50 billion might guilds. Where in this case, you know, I think we were up against only a handful of guilds really that, I mean, in the case of like HDS is only 15 billion might, you know, a lot of these guilds were not very big. So a lot of our options in terms of fighting was fairly limited. And even then, you know, it's like if you look at like a guild like D2D, which is like a subsidiary of D1D, right? It's a 9 billion might guild. But the thing I get about with a lot of that kind of stuff, right? Whenever you go into these kind of situations with the KvKs, you never know what to expect. And I really kind of wish that there was something more to it than what it is. I feel like a lot of the time KvK is like you either get a good one or a bad one, and you're either going to get a 50-50 shot at actually having any fun. Now, I would say, you know, for me, I'm not really complaining because hey, I got my solo war done. I'm done and over with. I just think it's bizarre that, you know, you'll have a handful of guilds that are either doing most of the fort wars and doing purely the fighting on the forts, and they're taking them for the points, and that's their thing, you know. And then obviously there's people like me going after the accounts that went in the solo, and then there's everything in between, right? And I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, I think that's what kind of splits up a lot of the action in the game, though, because at some point, once the forts have pretty much been established and the victors have been declared, there's really not a lot of fighting that happens after that. And I don't know, it's just, for me, it's kind of boring. I hate when like you get to a stalemate, and that's, I think, something that I in my opinion at least, I think happened for this KvK. But needless to say, I guess I'll hopefully find out what the result is of this KvK, and maybe I'll show it at the end of the video if I end up recording it. I don't know. Maybe I'll actually just put it in the comment section of whether or not we want to lose, you know. But even in the case of like MKI, I mean, it's not like we don't have interesting guilds to fight, right? But it's just, I don't know, it's like, I was expecting more out of it, I think. That's really my main disappointment. And I know that, you really can't expect much, right? When you're putting up a fight against so many different guilds and you've got so much to go up against. But it just seems like a reoccurring thing with this game where it's just becoming slowly more and more drastic. So I'm hoping that with the updates and stuff like that they plan on updating the game with. I just hope that in some ways that events like these are a little bit more spicy than they are usually. Because up to this point, KvKs like these definitely, kind of give me a drawn out answer. But I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna for the end of the video, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put a ransom on this guy, and I'll let you know if he ends up paying it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section of whether or not he's gonna end up paying this or not. Because I'm kind of curious, is he willing to pay 250 million gold? Because if he is, awesome. If not, oh well, not gonna cry about it. But having that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.